Do asexual people masturbate? I'm not sure if I'm ace exactly, but I feel like I could never have sex again and I'd be okay with that. At most, maybe I have it 1 or 2 times a year, but otherwise I find I don't really care either way. I've always had a lower than average interest in sex. I do still masturbate though sometimes. Single example asexual here. Yes, I do. Mostly to blow off urges during ovulation, so a few times a month when hormones kick in. Asexuality is simply not finding others immediately sexually attractive and/or the absent low desire for sexual activity. That's it. The rest of it depends on the individual. I will find porn and other things like that arousing, but I'm also sex indifferent. There are asexuals who are sex adverse and those who are sex positive. That's why it's considered a spectrum. Some do, some don't. But there's nothing about being asexual that stops someone from being aroused, feeling horny, or enjoying masturbation. I'm asexual and like to masturbate occasionally. Like the other commenter, my level of horniness is closely linked to my hormones and menstrual cycle. When I feel horny, it's not directed towards any person, it's just physical, like an itch. I personally don't because I have no urges to, but I guess it depends on the person. I'm asexual, I masturbate sometimes, but honestly, I could live without it. I have never been sexually attracted to anyone and I have no interest in having sex. When I get horny, it's not because I'm thinking about other people, it's more so a general horniness with my own body. To me, masturbation is simply a release, it's just scientific. It's kind of hard to explain. I know asexual people that hate masturbation and some asexual people that like sex. It's a very large spectrum. I could write about it all day if I had the energy. Lol. The basis is that asexual people feel little to no sexual attraction for other people. But there are exceptions like demisexual, in which people will only be capable of feeling any sexual attraction to someone after a strong emotional bond. But yeah, asexual people exist. It's not low hormones or lame people who can't score a hookup making excuses, I just don't feel attracted to anyone. Asexual and aromantic woman here. Yes, I do rather often. Actually, the thought of actually having sex with someone repulses me, but weirdly enough, I enjoy masturbation. I don't get horny often though, only when I'm ovulating. Some do, some don't. Not every ace is the same. I don't masturbate at all. Ace here I don't personally, but I'm sure some other aces do it. It's a wide spectrum after all. Man, some of the people in the comments, why don't asexuals force themselves to be hetero? Oh wow, why didn't we think of that? Oh wait, many of us have tried that for most of our lives and failed since we just don't work that way. In case you were wondering, yeah, a lot of ace people have tried to be normal and it's harmful. I was in denial for years, and tried to force myself to be normal and felt disappointed in myself whenever I noticed that I never got sexually attracted to my crushes. I theoretically could force myself to be straight, but I would still be ace at my core. I would just be in a relationship where I feel awful and the other person potentially feeling like a sex offender. Some people have forced themselves to have conversion sex, and no, it doesn't work, it just traumatizes people. Asexual here. Yes, I do. Sometimes as frequently as multiple times a day, or as infrequently as once every few months. A lot of the time it does line up with my ovulation, as one commenter mentioned above. But sometimes I just don't think about it for a long time and it doesn't affect my life in any way. For those of you wondering how that affects my relationships, it doesn't. I'm poly and I so choose to be with me knowing full well about my sexuality. We sometimes have sex, but mostly they get laid elsewhere and I'm happy for them. Asexuality is a spectrum. There are some asexuals who indeed love to masturbate, but who just don't ever want to have sex with another person. If you want more information, take a look here, http. I'm an asexual, and I have to confirm, I do masturbate. In fact, I'm in a stable relationship and even have sex quite frequently. When you're ace, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are repulsed by sexual acts. There are many asexuals who are, but it's not a requirement to be ace. You can still crave the act itself, you still can have sex drive. The only thing being asexual means is that you don't feel sexual attraction towards people or very limited attraction. Romantic attraction is completely different, so I'm not talking about that. In short, asexuality is a spectrum. There are sex-repulsed asexuals who will be fine with not ever masturbating nor having sex, then there are people like me who are fine with both of these, and basically anyone in between. Some yes, some don't. Same with having sex. Some are truly disgusted by sex, some dislike it, some don't mind, but can happily live without it. It's not quite simple. For myself, I have a few needs that I can deal with myself. I'm not disgusted by sex and can be physically attracted to someone. But I will not have pleasure doing it and can even feel pain, so it's only to get pregnant. Genuinely educational thread. I thought ace people just didn't do anything sexual at all. I am asexual. I do not feel attraction nor have any desire, so I do not seek out sexual stuff, but I am able to enjoy it, the other aspects of it. As for masturbation, yes, but not for reasons you might think. I struggle with quite a few health issues and I am often in pain. Sometimes when I am in pain, but it is not like, oh my god kill me right now kind of pain, but just some mild pain. I masturbate because it releases chemicals in my brain that help with the pain. That way I do not have to consume as many painkillers. The last thing I want is building a tolerance for painkillers and then they won't work when I need them. Thank you for this post. I always had a couple of questions, the comments here have answered most of them. Thank you to all of you who were kind enough to add your personal experience. It's very enlightening. I'm probably on the other end of the spectrum. It's difficult for me to comprehend not wanting sexual pleasure every day. I'm very lucky to have a spouse who allows me to be free to feel my feelings without judgment. I hope you don't have very many people try to tell you something is wrong with you or you'll grow out of it. I also hope that if you want a partner, you can find one that lets you be you too. I never masturbate, don't even think about it, and I never have. I occasionally have sexy dreams, but that's about it. Asexuality is a huge umbrella which makes it difficult to answer this as the answer always comes down to, some do, some don't. I didn't really recognize being asexual until 30. I'm normal bisexual in terms of fantasies, masturbation to this day. Why I'm asexual is I've never even wanted to kiss someone, let alone have any kind of sex, or relationship either. I feel like I get sexuality perfectly, I just don't feel it personally towards others.